Before the first star ignited, before time itself had a name, there were the primordials, beings of unimaginable power who wove the very fabric of existence. But like all great powers, they fell into conflict, a war so catastrophic, it threatened to unravel reality itself. To save everything, the eldest primordial, Netherus, the Weaver, forged the Oblivion Vault, a prison outside of space and time, and locked away the most dangerous of her kin. She sealed them in eternal silence, hoping their destructive ambitions would fade into nothingness. But nothing lasts forever. Locks rust, chains weaken, and now, after eons of silence, the vault has cracked. From the fractured darkness, they crawl forth. They are not gods or demons. They are something far, far older. They are the Dark Universe faction, and they have returned to reclaim a creation they believe is rightfully theirs. Each is a living embodiment of annihilation. First, there is Vather, the Shadow Tyrant. He is the master of collapsed stars and gravitational nightmares. Vather doesn't just conquer worlds. He feeds on their fear, twisting entire realities into inescapable cages of absolute darkness, where hope is a forgotten memory. Then comes Erisynth, the Whisper Queen. She is not a warrior who strikes with a blade, but a phantom of corruption whose voice seeps into the minds of mortals and gods alike. Her whispers turn love into bitter suspicion, unwavering loyalty into treacherous betrayal. She dismantles armies and empires from within, leaving behind nothing but paranoia and self-destruction. Alongside them marches Oberos, the Eater of Roots, a colossal, insatiable force of nature. Oberos consumes the very life force of existence. It drains planets dry, turning lush, vibrant worlds into desolate, gray husks. Where Oberos passes, silence is all that remains. And finally, there is Kelshur, the Mirror Blade, born from fractured dimensions and shattered realities. Kelshur is an assassin unlike any other. It doesn't need a physical weapon. It kills its victims by forcing them to confront the worst possible versions of themselves, their deepest regrets, their most monstrous potentials, until their own spirit breaks and they are erased from existence. Together, these four ancient terrors do not march to conquer. They march to rewrite the very laws of reality into their own twisted vision of perfection. A universe steeped in eternal, unchanging despair. Their arrival sends a tremor through every corner of the cosmos. On countless worlds, seers and oracles scream themselves awake, their minds shattered by visions of a coming void. Ancient prophecies, long dismissed as myths, suddenly snap into focus. The end is not coming. It is already here. Faced with this absolute, existential threat, the old rules no longer apply. The fragile line between hero and villain, light and dark, simply dissolves. For the first time in recorded history, sworn enemies are forced to look at each other and see not a rival, but their only chance at survival. From the celestial realms, the light-bearers gather. At their head is Oriax, the celestial knight, a warrior of pure light, who wields a blade forged in the heart of a newborn sun. His legions of star-forged guardians have defended the cosmos for millennia, but never have they faced a darkness this profound. They are the first line of defense, a shining bastion against the encroaching night. And on a small, stubborn planet called Earth, humanity's protectors stand ready. They are flawed heroes, weary from endless battles, scarred by loss and regret. But they are unbroken. They know the odds are impossible, that their strength is a flickering candle in a hurricane. But they will not yield. They will fight for their home, for their right to exist, to the very last breath. But they are not alone. In the shadowy corners of the universe, a startling realization dawns. The crime lords, the mad scientists, the exiled Godzol, those who once schemed to dominate the cosmos understand a chilling truth. If the Dark Universe faction wins, there will be nothing left to rule. Their ambition, their power, their very existence will be erased. And so, with bitter reluctance, they join the fight. Warlords who once burned galaxies now offer their fleets. Sorcerers who trafficked in forbidden magic now, with defensive wards, they don't fight for good, they fight for themselves. The battlefield becomes a paradox. A fragile trust is forged between mortal enemies, a trust tested with every passing moment. A hero fighting back to back with the villain who murdered his family. A cosmic guardian shielding the very tyrant she swore to destroy. Every alliance is a gamble, every shared glance a mixture of desperation and suspicion, knowing that the smallest spark of the old hatred could shatter everything. The war ignites, not on a single planet, but at the very edge of the multiverse. The shattered remains of the Oblivion Vault collapse into a raging storm of broken time and chaotic reality. Entire cities from forgotten histories are ripped from their timelines and flung into the fray. Roman legions find themselves fighting alongside starfleets from futures yet to be born. Mythical beasts, creatures of legend thought to be mere stories, are pulled from the collective unconscious and given terrifying form. The battlefield is a canvas of pure chaos. And into this maelstrom, the Dark Universe faction descends like a tide of nightmares. Vatha's shadows swallow suns. Erisynth's whispers drive entire fleets to tear each other apart. Oberos drains the life from 1,000 worlds at once. Kelshor shatters the resolve of the bravest champions. Reality itself becomes their weapon. Oceans rise into the sky and turn to glass. Mountains scream and crumble into dust. Stars flicker out like dying embers. The scale of the destruction is incomprehensible. For every victory the Alliance wins, 100 worlds fall. For every hero who holds the line, 1,000 are lost. The darkness seems infinite, inevitable. Hope begins to fade. But even in this darkest hour, something incredible happens. The Alliance holds, battered, broken, and pushed to the absolute brink. They refuse to fall. Heroes and villains, united by the single, primal instinct to survive, fight with a ferocity born of pure desperation. They fight not for glory, not for honor, not for redemption. They fight for one more sunrise. Yet, as the war rages on, a new, more insidious threat begins to surface. Erisynth's whispers were not just aimed at their enemies. They were seeds of doubt planted within the Alliance itself. A dangerous question begins to spread among the ranks. What if the only way to defeat a power this absolute is to embrace a piece of it ourselves? What if we need to become monsters to fight monsters? Some heroes, pushed past their limits, begin to consider forbidden paths, eyeing the very darkness they fight against as a potential weapon. Some villains, ever the opportunists, see a chance to seize unimaginable power for themselves. To betray the Alliance and emerge from the ashes as the new masters of a broken universe. The seeds of corruption are taking root. The greatest threat may no longer be the ancient evil at their doorstep, but the darkness it has awakened in the hearts of those sworn to stop it. The lines are blurring once more, and this time, the stakes are not just survival, but the very soul of every being in creation. This is not just a battle. It is the first chapter of a war that will reshape every star, every dimension, every soul. And when the dust finally settles, and the echoes of the last conflict fade, one question will resonate through what remains of eternity. When light and shadow are forced to unite against a greater darkness, what truly defines a hero? Thank you so much for joining us on this epic journey. If you were captivated by this story, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you won't miss what happens next. We're just getting started. See you in the next chapter.